Continuing from the previous episode 2085. That's holy energy? Xiao Yan was entrenched on the bottom of the sea, still a few dozen meters away from the mud below, but the soul force had already sensed the treasure contained in it. I didn't expect it to be holy. In addition to the volume of quasi-sacred rank 8th grade medicinal prescriptions in my hand, it seems that this medicinal clan ceremony is really a blessing to me. Xiao Yan couldn't help but be surprised. The quasi-sacred rank 8th grade prescription can be regarded as a sacred rank medicinal pill at best, but it is only an entry level, and it is not even a sacred rank 8th rank Zon rank. Holy Qi, something that is necessary for refining holy medicine pills, is that there are places where the energy of the world is abundant, like a mass of spiritual liquid, either liquid or mist and gas. Immortal level pills are quite mysterious, and they are already indistinguishable from humans, but holy level pills are different, because holy level pills have reached the realm of Tongxuan, and holy level pills are born with wisdom that is not weaker than human beings as well as the strength of the 8-star fighting immortals. If there is no uniform to obliterate the wisdom after the successful refining, I am afraid it will cause a lot of trouble. Therefore, the Holy Spirit came into being. The existence of Holy Qi is a key step in the fusion of Holy Order pills into pills and collection of pills. Because the holy pill is too mysterious, it must be poured with holy energy, thus forming a shackle between the pill and the alchemist, thus greatly improving the chance of successful refining of the holy pill. It can be said unceremoniously that a medicinal pill with holy qi involved in refining and one without holy qi refining are two completely different medicinal pills. With it, I can attack the holy rank 8th grade Zon rank pill without hesitation. Xiao Yan said with a smile. The next moment, Xiao Yan's eyes were filled with ecstasy. With the protection of the flame barrier, his figure flashed away towards the mud below. See, a cold feeling swept out from the outside in, and actually invaded Xiao Yan's skin through the holy flame barrier. Fortunately, it has the protection of the power of half-dragon transforming Baxia. Baxia is the peak power of the water system. This kind of power is a piece of cake for it. Xiao Yan shook his head and smiled, but if there is no Baxia's power, I am afraid that Xiao's trip will not be so easy. Crack! With a sound of thunder, Xiao Yan jumped into the mud and immediately covered all the mud with holy flames, and then suddenly fled from the place. Wing Om! The silt was almost several meters in size. Xiao Yan had just held it in his palm, and suddenly a terrifying whistling erupted. All the silt turned into a pile of black turbid water, as if something terrifying was about to be born. Don't waste your time. Spit out the holy energy for me. Xiao Yan knew that this massive silt had spirituality, and there was a weak gap at the bottom of the Lingai Sea. The silt creatures continued to absorb countless powers, even Xiao Yan was afraid after a while. So directly uproot it and force the Tao. Peefed! Xiao Yan controlled the power-absorbing gap, and in addition to Xiao Yan's tyrannical power, the silt reluctantly pushed out a wisp of yellow gas. It really is holy energy. The yellow gas was like layers of hazy and mysterious mist. Xiao Yan carefully placed 3 high-quality jade bottles, and immediately clapped his hands and laughed. If you are acquainted, I will spare you because it is not easy for you to cultivate. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he took 3 bottles full of holy energy and slowly left here, relying on the guidance of the quasi-sacred prescription in his hand. Facing the sea of spirits, the last place in the center of the medicinal herbs is gone. For a time, the bottom of the Lingai also recovered calm, and the silt returned to the seabed to attach to the gap, absorbing endless power. I am afraid that it will be completely cultivated and formed soon. The quasi-holy level prescription is still missing the last medicinal ingredient, the snake swallowing the sky grass. Xiao Yan collected the holy energy, and immediately went towards the spirit sea at an extremely fast speed, but along the way, he found that some of the spirit sea the medicinal materials in the independent space were sold out. It seems that when he and the ice and fire evil dragon are fighting below, many strong people are not idle. They have already collected all the medicinal materials, and now they are probably heading towards the 10 Juling peaks. I have to speed up. I hope it won't be so unlucky. Xiao Yan couldn't help but feel a black heart. There are only 10 Juling peaks. I am afraid that there are only 10 people in this grand ceremony. Once others occupy the Juling Peak and start refining medicine pills, they will not be able to drive them away. This makes Xiao Yan anxious. That's it. 5 minutes later, Xiao Yan came to a position close to 800 meters under the Lingai Sea. He looked at the medicinal herbs that were isolated from the sea and quietly standing in a small independent space, and couldn't help but feel relieved. "Come here." Seeing this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but waved it casually, wanting to take it into his pocket, and then hurriedly went to the 10 Juling peaks to find out. Xiao Yan's seemingly tyrannical power did not cause any waves, and the snake swallowed by the power of space did not move. Strange, what's going on? Seeing that the situation was not right, Xiao Yan immediately became puzzled and couldn't help but approach him. The secluded snake swallowed the sky grass, and when it got close, I saw that it was a small green snake, as lifelike as a living thing. The small snake was quietly crawling around a plant with 9 green leaves, which was quite strange. Soul power. Xiao Yan didn't want to waste time, so he could only endure the doubts in his heart, mobilize the soul power in his body, and attacked him continuously. After the blink of an eye, this herb was still unmoved, as if it was not like Xiao Yan at all. What the asterisk is going on? Xiao Yan was not convinced. The flame, holy flame, soul, spiritual power, etc. were all used by him, but he couldn't shake the medicinal materials at all, even with the brute force of the dragon god transformation. The quasi-sacred pill, the pill's name and its efficacy need to gather all the medicinal materials before they can be revealed, and the medicinal materials required for refining. Among them, the snake-swallowing heavenly grass is the core medicinal material. No matter what kind of stubborn power it is not advisable. Only the life of the snake clan can be shaken by pouring its blood essence. Xiao Yan took out the yellowish ancient prescription and took a closer look. He didn't know when some small words were added. Strange, I just said why the prescription wasn't right in the first place, but this prescription seems to be a kind of exclusive medicine for snakes. Xiao Yan had an idea in his heart, but he was still suspicious. Come on. Temporarily putting away other distracting thoughts in his mind, Xiao Yan swiped his finger out of thin air. The sharp blade of air cut Xiao Yan's finger open, and drops of scarlet blood emerged. However, in the seemingly bright red blood, there are traces of extremely bleak colorful colors. Although the colorful colors are bleak, they are real. When the blood touches the snake swallowing the sky grass, the void squirms, and there are traces of cracks. It emerged, but the blood instantly turned into a mini giant snake flashing with colorful power, biting away at it. It's finally here. Next, we must seize the time to compete for the Juling Peak. Although I don't know what the role of the Juling Peak is, there are only 10 of thousands of people participating. I am afraid it has its unique power. After collecting the medicinal materials, Xiao Yan left directly. Lingai walked towards Lingu, but Ling Zixi and the others had already disappeared halfway along the way. Next, in the Medicine Clan Festival, the real highlight just kicked off. Continuing from the previous episode 2086. Crack. A crack appeared, and the anger that was already extremely hot in the outside world suddenly became agitated. With the actions of Yan Zan and Shen Hong, it has caused dissatisfaction from many forces, but because the Yao family did not come forward, they are not easy to get angry. What's going on? At this time, everyone's eyes were still focused on the crystal prism. Now they have entered the final step, refining the medicinal pills. The next step is the extremely dangerous part. After all, in the previous ceremonies, refining among the medicinal pills, relying on their own strength to asterisk the energy of heaven and earth, etc., there are not a few things that eventually cause the death of the pill. That kind of situation will undoubtedly become the most attractive picture in the grand ceremony. Patriarch, do you have something on your mind? Although Yao Xuanyi had been paying attention to Xiao Yan, but Xiao Yan was helpless whether it was intentional or just luck. Since his spiritual ascension, he lost his image in the crystal prism, so there was nothing he could do. Xiao Yan, that kid, I'm afraid that he will really. At this moment, Yao Wanwan was not as proud as he used to be, so he could only shake his head and sigh. How could that be? Yao Yichen and his sisters are the geniuses of our Yao family for 100 years. With them here, the first title must be ours. After all, it is impossible for Xiao Yan to collect all the medicinal materials of the quasi-sacred prescription. Yao Xuanyi still can't believe it. You know the creatures guarding the treasures in the spirit sea, right? Yao Wanwan whispered in a low voice. Ice, fire, evil dragon and holy qi? Yao Xuanyi nodded, these things are naturally arranged by them, so it is impossible to be unclear. However, that trace of holy energy was snatched by the ice and fire evil dragon from their medicine clan's holy rank alchemist. It was not prepared by them. Originally, they planned to exchange the guardian treasure, but the ice and fire evil dragon was too cunning and could only do this. Delayed. The guardian has been defeated, a trace of holy energy has been obtained, and the snake swallowing the skygrass has also been taken away. Yao Wanwan shook his head. How could? At this moment, an extremely tyrannical dizziness struck. Nether snake swallowing heavenly grass is a precious medicinal material in the spiritual sea that has grown since ancient times. Even if their medicine clan dispatched countless geniuses, they could not get it. Originally, Xiao Yan's amazing strength may be good, but due to the difficulty of this medicine, the medicine clan cannot take it. The top management obviously did not regard Xiao Yan as a real competitor. After all, he was as arrogant as a quasi-sacred prescription. But now, the medicinal materials and holy energy have been taken away, although it is not sure that Xiao Yan did it. As a result, it may be difficult for the geniuses of their medicine clan to maintain the title of the #1 alchemist in the mainland. In the Valley of Spirits. Damn, there are already 6 jeweling peaks that have been occupied and started refining, and there are only 4 to come. In order to save time, let's go to the nearest one. Xiao Yan finished speaking, and the figure burst out. Towards the edge of Linggu. Damn Shen Hong, actually plotting against me. And that ice and fire evil dragon, it's really bad luck. At this time, Yanzan's figure also appeared next to the 8th peak spirit pillar. Just after escaping from the fatal blow of the ice-fire evil dragon, he hurriedly collected his last medicinal herbs, and immediately went to the 8th jeweling peak without stopping. Jeweling Peak stands at the very edge of the Linggu Mountains, and the endless energy of heaven and earth is vented, which contains countless mysteries. According to the information obtained by Yanzan in advance, occupying Jeweling Peak to refine medicine pills can have a multiplier effect with half the effort. As a result, the 10 Jeweling Peaks became the targets for everyone to loot. Today's Yanzan has fluffy red hair, a face as black as coke, and there are traces of conspicuous scars on his body, but this can't stop him from going towards the 8th peak. This peak has been occupied by me, you should find another place. At this moment, at the top of the 8th peak, on an elegant round platform, a man with fierce eyes smiled and said with a murderous intent in his voice. Exhibition no doubt. Qingshan sect Guo Di, it is said that behind this guy is a super sect on the Douyin continent. He has been gifted since childhood, and now he has reached the 7th grade Zan level refining pharmacist of the immortal rank. There is a faint sign of competing with the ancient race. What a terrifying guy. At this moment, looking at some of the alchemists who were lying on the ground, the others murmured, and there was a very obvious retreat in their voices. Hey, let's go, since Jeweling Peak can't compete, we can only go to find a quiet place to refine the medicine pill. After a while, looking at Guo Di's terrifying power and courage, a group of strong men shook their heads and shook their heads. Immediately leave quickly. Finally, we can start refining medicine pills. This time, I will definitely let the ancient races know the tyranny of our Qingshan sect. Guo Di said with a gratified smile, as if he had seen the ancient races bowing down in front of him to please him. Isn't it too early to be happy? And just as Guo Di was about to start refining the elixir and locked the 8th peak, a lightning-like black shadow slowly swept into the sky, with the attitude of a superior. Looking down at Guo Di, the disdain contained in his words is extremely obvious. This is? Yan Clan Yanzan? At this moment, the excitement in Guo Di's heart turned into a feeling of unease, and his body shook violently. I like this 8th peak, you should look elsewhere. A brown flame appeared all over Yanzan's body, and immediately the entire peak of the 8th peak, countless forces squirmed, and an extremely hot breath emerged. Out. This level of flame power actually made Guo Di have a long-lost heart palpitation. I fought with you, the fist of the Green Mountain. Looking at this scene, Guo Di did not hold back any hands, and the dazzling flames were also displayed, wrapping his fists and shooting away at Yanzan, and the strong fighting chi fluctuations set off waves in the sky. The wind was blowing, quite frightening. The genius of the ancient race is not comparable to those of you ants. Go away. In the face of this terrifying attack, Yanzan snorted coldly, the dazzling brown flame turned into a ferocious fire dragon. Without any extra means, the fire dragon roared out fiercely. Unexpectedly, it was attacked and shattered in an instant, and the whole person was shot thousands of meters away like a cold corpse. Along the way, the sound of crisp bones breaking was quite harsh. The pride of the ancient race. This time let's use the medicine refining technique to compete. Come on, fire, ascend the cauldron. After removing all the obstructing guys at the top of the peak, Yanxuan set up a heavy barrier, and immediately his palm emerged, and the gorgeous flames swept out, trying to transform into a cauldron and start refining medicine pills. Once you start refining medicine pills, no one can compete with you on this mountain. It's too early to say such words now. A proudly standing laughter emerged, but the laughter had not spread completely, and the void of the entire peak suddenly solidified, and even Yanxuan cast the flames that came out were instantly extinguished. Yanxuan lowered his head and looked at a thin black-shirted man at the bottom of the mountain. Above his head, an extremely terrifying force gently swept away, and that force actually contained a touch of depression that he had never experienced before. Continuing from the previous episode 2087. Xiao Yan, looking at the figure and name that he had already recorded in his soul, Yanxuan roared through gritted teeth, wishing to slash Xiao Yan with 1,000 swords. Is the Yan clan flaming? You acted like that to my Zuner, but it was a little boring. Afterwards, I joined forces with Shen Hong to besiege Lingzixi. Let's fully understand the grievances between us here. After all, I don't plan to delay it again and again. Xiao Yan walked around and added immediately. What nonsense! The auction is for the highest bidder. What does it have to do with me? And Lingzixi, even if Shen Hong and I joined forces to attack her, I don't think you are a commoner who has the qualifications to climb her high. Don't urinate and take care of yourself. You are just an ant living at the bottom of the world, like a rat in a sewer. You can only survive in a dark and stinky place. How can it be compared with the ancient races at the top of our Douyin continent pyramid? You are a waste. Looking at Xiao Yan's current appearance, countless hatred and anger emerged from the corners of Yanxuan's rather distorted, ugly mouth. I have a good relationship with the spiritual race, and provoking them is equivalent to provoking me. But the most fundamental reason is that you angered my family Zuner. Xiao Yan smiled slowly, and there was a monstrous killing intent in his laughter. I am the proud son of the Yan clan. How can you fight me? Besides, the one from your family is nothing but a Rouge fan in my eyes. Also, you don't need to use so many excuses. I will accept it unceremoniously. Today's place is your real burial place. Yanxuan said very arrogantly, even because he had relied on the dragon scales and the silt to be very close. He vaguely noticed that Xiao Yan had a mysterious touch on his body. Breath. That breath seems to be the treasure at the bottom of the spiritual sea that he has been searching for. In addition to the fire of holy flame exposed by Xiao Yan, it can be said that now Xiao Yan has become the public enemy of countless pharmacists. If Xiao Yan can be wiped out, the power of holy flame will naturally be in the bag. For them pharmacists, the improvement is not a little bit. A lot of nonsense. I'll send you to *** today. Xiao Yan snorted coldly. The dazzling amber flames formed a flame armor, wrapping its entire body, like a true flame war god, invincible and invincible. New Holy Flame Origin Technique, Holy Flame Armor. With this level of strength blessing, Xiao Yan can now completely crush Yanxuan with just his strength. Fire! Seeing Xiao Yan's severe oppression, Yanxuan roared, and the brown flames also swept out, but they only covered his body for nearly a few meters, as if he was extremely afraid of the amber flames on Xiao Yan's body. You have some interesting things on your body. Why don't you hand them over, and then admit your mistake to Zuner, and I will spare you. After a probe, Xiao Yan actually found that there seemed to be a very strange fluctuation on Yanxuan's body. The fluctuation is more like the previous Forbidden Scroll? Ancestor Yanyan actually put such treasures on him? Or is it the next choice that Yanyan Ancestor just chose to prevent other powerhouses from being restless? I am also very interested in the holy flame on your body and the treasure taken from the bottom of the Spirit Sea. But this time, you can't beat me. No matter what means you use, I will win. Yanxuan roared arrogantly, as if he had the chance to win. After speaking, the flames all over his body violently surged, and a rare heat wave spread out, filling the surrounding void with a strong gust of energy. Disturbed. Destroy this guy. it's not a waste of me to give that thing to you. Although you can't use its full power now, as long as it is triggered, it will be enough to obliterate Xiao Yan. Then, however, it was a cold smile and said that killing Xiao Yan was also part of the rules of the Medicine Clan festival, so he naturally had no other concerns. What the asterisk is this guy planning? Zuner on the side was also looking at the rather nervous match between Xiao Yan and Yan Zhan. Boom! The gorgeous amber flame was extremely oppressive, making Yan Zhan's muscles tense. In order to prevent the suppression of the holy flame, he had to disperse most of his soul power to guard against the holy flame, which also created Yan Zhan's strength. Weak, after all, Yan Zhan's strength is not as strong as Xiao Yan's. Rock-breaking heaven burial. Seeing Yan Zhan's appearance like this, Xiao Yan didn't bother to take care of him. He raised his palm slightly, and the scorching flames danced in the armor above his body. The khaki flames were stripped out in an instant, and the ground rocks and soil below the Lingu Mountains trembled abruptly, and bursts of terrifying scenery emerged like the shaking of the earth and the mountains. Flying sand and moving rocks, the earth shakes. Countless powers echoed the khaki flames in front of Xiao Yan, as if something was brewing. What's going on with this guy's holy flame? Even the old guys like us have never heard of the flame that can strip power? At this moment, some of the respected old men in the Medicine Clan couldn't help looking at each other in surprise. The fire of holy flame is extremely mysterious, but with their memory and experience, they have never seen such means as Xiao Yan. What on earth is it? The holy flame he peeled off seems to be somewhat similar to the fire heart Tianyan, which ranks 35th on the holy flame list, but his amber flame is unheard of. Yaoyun said to Yaoxuan Yaoan, who was on the side. The beautiful eyes kept flickering, trying to distinguish Xiao's Shengen, but to no avail. Wait, I always think this guy seems to be related to the disappearing race. Xiao clan? Shush. Poochie. Pieces of rock burst from the ground of the mountain range below towards the position of the 8th peak in the sky. The void instantly solidified along the way, and a heavy depression made Yan Zhan unable to move. I kill you like a dog. Are you going to roll by yourself or let me kill you? Above Xiao Yan's head, a huge sphere made of fire heart heavenly rock fused with countless rocks and soil emerged, which contained endless suppressing power. Xiao Yan knew that there are many means in the hands of the ancient race powerhouses, and I am afraid that it is not so easy to destroy Yan Zhan, so he said. Little bastards, don't be mad. 3 Xuanyi fire, Wanjing Xuan. Seeing Xiao Yan's arrogant gesture, Yan Zhan's eyes narrowed tightly, and he roared with all his strength. Boom! The brown flames flowed out of his body like blood, and immediately gathered in front of him into a brown light mirror with a length of 1,000 meters. The mirror was filled with an endless sense of heat, as if the void could directly burn it down. Although this kind of flame can't be compared with the amber flame, but only the words of Huoxin Tianyan, an extremely terrifying atmosphere of comparison emerges. This brown flame actually wanted to compete with Xiao Yan's fire heart Tianyan? The second attack is getting more and more intense. I am afraid that after the rest, it will completely ignite this valley of medicine that has been silent for a long time. Continuing from the previous episode 2088. Boom! The entire medicine valley is filled with extreme depression. Even if the two attacks have not completely let go, the ripples of flame energy spread everywhere, filling the place with an extremely depressing smell of gunpowder. My good guy, the 8th peak actually erupted with such a fierce fighting atmosphere. I don't know who is fighting for it. At this moment, in the Medicine Valley, Yao Yichen and others have already started refining the medicinal pills, so they can only take a moment to pay attention. You actually handed down all of your 3 profound karmic fire and flame mantle to Yan Zhan. Ancestor Yanyan, you are really willing to invest your money. Looking at the splendid scenery of the 2 offensives in the Medicine Valley, the old Shen Shi was strangely aura of yin and yang. Muttered. Sanchuan Yahuo is the famous skill of the ancestors of Yanyan. This guy is very talented and devoted to the research of flames all day long. Although there is no great chance to obtain holy flames, after gathering dozens of fire-type great powers, he spends a lot of time. Hundreds of years ago, this flame was created by itself. The color of the Sanchuan Yahuo was brown, and its power surpassed that of the great heavenly seed. Under the pride of Yanyan's ancestors, he believed that its flame was vaguely comparable to that of the holy flame. Boom! Without waiting for the voices of the outside world to fall, the two internal attacks instantly let go. Above the entire 8th peak, countless heaven and earth energies escaped everywhere, and even a trace of space was distorted by it. Crush it! Burn it! The two pushed out the attack at the same time, and snorted coldly. Bang bang bang! Violent energy ripples raged out like lightning storms, causing the whole world to become turbulent. Using the power of mortals to inspire the power of heaven and earth is truly terrifying. Kacha kacha! The brown light mirror that looked fierce, but when it touched Xiao Yan's shattered rock burial, cracks appeared one after another, apparently unable to withstand the attack of the Fireheart Heavenly Rock's original technique. I'm afraid it will rest. Then it will completely explode. The mere mortal fire is also trying to compete with the fire of the holy flame. It's ridiculous. Shut up! There was a sneer at the corner of Xiao Yan's mouth, so he squeezed the palm of his hand heavily. The huge ball shattered, and a thick breath suppressed Yan Zan, and the brown light mirror was like a piece of glass, completely disintegrated. An unprecedented crisis of death haunts his mind. The fire of holy flame is the king of fire. How can it be shaken by the flame created by mere mortals? Holy flame, it's as terrifying as the rumors say. However, this also strengthens my belief that I must get you, even at any cost. At this moment, a touch of ancient sacred power slowly swept out of Yan Zan's body, and a rare madness appeared on his face. The celestial burial exploded, and some cracks appeared in the void of the mountain range, but Xiao Yan did not find the energy in this world, and he had already begun to stir, and the source of it was probably related to Yan Zan. Crash! After the restlessness, Yan Zan's clothes were disheveled, his breath was almost sluggish, and the scarlet scars were extremely conspicuous, and Yanxuan burial became quiet, just above Yanxuan's eyes. There was no fear at all, instead there was a frenzy like a madman, staring at Xiao Yan. At this moment, Xiao Yan was a little puzzled. Quote. The outside world was silent. Who would have imagined that this arrogant son of the Yan clan, who was hailed as the hottest champion, would become so vulnerable under the attack of an unknown person? From the beginning to the end, Xiao Yan only stood in the air, and the flames emerged to form a rock ball, causing Yan Zan to be seriously injured. How to fight this? All of a sudden, everyone could not help but take a deep breath. I am afraid that Yan Zan has missed the chance to win the championship. Something's wrong. Zuner, Yaoyun and the others are women, and their keen sense of smell made them smell a trace of abnormality from Yan Zan's demeanor. Combined with the calmness on Yan Yun's ancestor's face, they couldn't help but say, "It's an honor for an unknown person to be able to force Yan Zan to use his ability to press the bottom of the box." The holy flame on Xiao Yan's body, the Yan clan, accepted it with a smile, and I hope the Yao clan chief will not let unrelated people break the rules of the grand ceremony. Yan Yun's ancestor smiled lightly, very calmly and calmly. This guy seems very confident. Yao Wanwan and the others shrugged undeniably. I don't know who will kill the deer. I hope Senior Yanyan won't regret it. Zuner sat up as if nothing happened. No matter how tyrannical Yan Zan is, he cannot be Xiao Yan's opponent, because Zuner has unreserved trust in Xiao Yan. Little Chops, you forced me to do this. You are very strong, but you will definitely regret angering me, so next, feel the embrace of death carefully. Light Forbidden Technique, Heaven's Sad Rainbow. A wild beast like madness emerged from the corner of Yan Zan's mouth, and the piercing Yinbei was like a goddess of light standing at the top of this world, reading out the judgment order. What? At this moment, many pharmacists who had already started refining medicine on the mountain just felt that the world was turned upside down, and the quiet energy of the world was suddenly mobilized in some way, with a violent aura, facing Yan Zan close to the past. Countless energies of the heavens and the earth have turned into strands of pure white filaments, which contain the sacred and inviolable aura of the strongest. Sadness, fear, pain. Countless senses fill the minds of everyone present, and it seems that under this kind of power, they themselves are extraordinarily small and powerless. Ancestor Yanyan, are you crazy? After the blink of an eye, Zuner stood up directly from the seat and roared out with anger. Humph, little girl, this is a grand ceremony for the medicine clan, but it's not a child's play. The strong come first, and the weak are only worthy of worship at the bottom of the world. Ancestor Yanyan sneered disdainfully. If he suffers any loss, I will flatten your entire Yan clan. After Zuner finished speaking, he sat down again in Zadu, but there was a golden pattern on the center of his eyebrows, which became more and more intense. That kind of fluctuation made it as strong as medicine. The clan chief has a hint of suspicion. It seems that he has seen this thing before. Everyone, don't be impatient. The ceremony experience will inevitably lead to casualties. This is something that has been warned. Looking at such a hot scene, Yao Xuanyi looked like an old man. I'm afraid this little girl's origin is also extremely terrifying. Yao Wanwan's expression was extremely ugly. From the golden lines that flashed between his eyebrows, even he could smell a real astonishment. In a short while, the entire mountain range was humming and shaking, the energy of heaven and earth was deprived, and a scene of light from the sky gathered around the scarred Yanzan, but Yanzan's face covered a trace of unstoppable madness. After auctioning the Forbidden Technique scroll, Ancestor Yanyan gave it to himself, and he had already groped for it within a month. Although he could not fully perform it now, even if it was to activate the Forbidden Technique, with its small semi-Forbidden Technique level power, enough to smash Xiaoyan to pieces. Once Xiaoyan is destroyed, his soul power and his holy flame will be in his pocket. At that time, wouldn't it be as easy as the palm of your hand to step into the soul power of the Yuan realm, as well as the 8th grade alchemist of the Holy Order? Continuing from the previous episode 2089. Wang Om! Countless filaments of light converged into a dazzling rainbow, sloping from the 9 heavens, containing supreme divine power, making many experts who were refining medicine in the Medicine Valley at this time restless, and their hearts were disturbed. Trembling violently, as if it would be overwhelmed by this power at any time, the scalp was numb, the sensory stimulation was unprecedentedly strong, and it was very close to death. At this moment, they just realized how small they are, and a sense of pale powerlessness swept their bodies. It's all thanks to you, Yanzan said with a frantic smile. A milky white halo appeared on his body, and immediately the entire body was burned with light threads, brown flames, soul power, and even Dou Qi all emerged together, vented without reservation, and then poured into the Forbidden Technique Hongxia in front of him, trying to completely descend the Forbidden Technique here and kill Xiaoyan. The display of the Forbidden Technique requires at least the strength of the 8-star Fighting Immortal. With his 7-star Fighting Immortal strength, he naturally cannot fully display it. Now the guidance of the semi-forbidden technique has drained all his strength. This guy is obviously going to kill Xiaoyan with this one blow. Now that the guidance of the semi-forbidden technique is completed, once the remaining power is condensed, this destructive attack is enough to shatter Xiaoyan's body, and when he collects his soul source and holy flame, it will be enough to cover his loss. Puqi. After the countless rays of light were injected with the power of Yanzan, they became more and more inflated. They gently covered the entire Lingu sky, blocked them, and greedily sucked countless heaven and earth energies, like a cosmic river of light. Shine on the whole earth and purify all evils in the world. Under this kind of divine might, it seemed that all resistance had become trivial. In addition, Shahong in the river of light was still rolling, and an irresistible emotion slanted down from it. Endless sadness, pain, and low-pitched crying have transformed this place into a real paradise of gods. Everyone who participated in the grand ceremony to refine the medicinal pills seemed to have forgotten their own situation. It's actually a forbidden technique, no wonder you can be so fearless. Xiaoyan looked at Yanzan's crazy movements and the divine power contained in the Guanghe universe above the sky, but he didn't have any fear, but couldn't help laughing. Road. The attack just now was just Xiaoyan's warm-up. With the use of his forbidden technique now, the blood in Xiaoyan's body that had been silent for a long time was scorching hot. The power of the forbidden technique is enough to endanger Xiaoyan's life, making Xiaoyan really take it seriously, but there is a completely different power in Xiaoyan's body, like a reviving dragon awakening. The power of the devil, the fighting spirit is surging, and it is extremely awe-inspiring. Let me see whether it is your semi-finished product's forbidden technique that is powerful, or my semi-finished product's dominant body. Dragon God's first change, second change. Half-dragon transformation, the body of dominance. Under the soul shadow. In the face of Yanzan's attack of this level, Xiaoyan did not take any step back, and directly stopped the demon's power. With the addition of the scales of Baxia, Baxia's huge body is condensed behind him in the form of energy soul shadows. The mere half-finished forbidden technique is far from being able to compete with the power of the devil. Boom! At the same time, the entire sky shook violently, and the Guanghe universe became more and more splendid. As if a river gate would be opened at any time, the supreme divine might Hongxia would be tilted down, and Xiaoyan would be finally judged. This lunatic, definitely a lunatic. At this moment, the outside world of the altar mountain was boiling. The leaders of countless forces suddenly stood up from their seats, their eyes narrowed tightly, and they stared at the figures of Yanzan and Xiaoyan on the crystal prism. These two people, there is no doubt that they are veritable lunatics. One person used the forbidden technique to try to kill the opponent, while the other wanted to resist the forbidden technique with the strength of a mortal? Good guy. At this moment, some powerhouses couldn't help but secretly cast their respectful gazes at Ancestor Yanyan. In order to ensure Yanzan's foolproofness, this guy actually gave him all the forbidden scrolls? This is too frustrating, isn't it? Patriarch, I'm afraid we need to come forward in this matter. Yao Xuanyi lost her composure for a while, so she could only look at Yao Wan. Xiaoyan and Yanzan were equally talented. He didn't want to compete. What went wrong? This kid is probably trying to resist the ban. It's business as usual, otherwise there are so many people here, it's hard to convince the public. Yao Wan could only say coldly in order to maintain the rules of the Yao clan, but this guy also had some expectations. He is very aware of the power of the semi-finished product's forbidden art, even if he is a little palpitated, but looking at Xiaoyan's arrogant posture, he is also curious whether Xiaoyan can take it. If he can take over this half-finished forbidden technique, I am afraid that just this one, Xiaoyan's name will completely resound throughout the entire Douyan continent. I would like to thank Yao Patriarch for the beauty of being an adult. When we go back this time, our Yan clan patriarch will definitely come to visit. With Yao Wan's reassurance pill, the smile on Yan Yun Patriarch's face can no longer be contained. As long as Yao Wan if Yuan doesn't make a move, other powerhouses naturally don't need to worry. In the grand ceremony competition, life and death are determined by destiny, and no one is allowed. This is the eternal rule of the medicine family. I hope. Facing the ridicule of Yanyan's ancestor, Zuner shook his head lightly, and didn't say much, but his slender hands were dragging his fragrant cheeks, and there was a rare aura above his beautiful eyes. Sen ran. It turned out that some old men in the late stage of the 8-star Dou Xian could smell a strong oppression. Yanzan, let's do it. I also really want to see the power of the forbidden technique, how powerful it is. The blue dragon scales covered half of Xiaoyan's body, as invincible as A** of war. The majestic mountain stood behind him, stepping lightly on the void, and said to the dying Yanzan. Good. Then I will let you taste. What is the most powerful force in the world? Forbidden art, come. Seeing Xiaoyan's appearance like this, Yanzan exhausted his last bit of strength and slapped it with both hands, completely detonating the forbidden art. It's all his trust. Forbidden art. Yanzan's voice just fell, and the entire universe of the Supreme Light River was beating violently like a heart. Countless rainbows in the River of Light turned into surging waves, staring at Xiaoyan. Kacha! In the universe of Guanghe, a faint void suddenly appeared, and immediately countless rainbows slanted down from the gap. The dazzling aura of light completely enveloped the entire Medicine Valley, causing countless people to sting their eyes and unable to open their eyes. Terret! Before the attack came, Xiaoyan only felt that the giant tortoise-shaped ghost shadow behind him exuded a heaven-shattering aura. Obviously, it had blocked some of the power, but Xiaoyan was still able to escape from this. Under the forbidden technique of the semi-finished product, I felt a wave of death. The name of the forbidden technique is well deserved. Countless monstrous waves rolled, flapping and surging all over Xiaoyan and completely surrounded Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan was like a bird that fell into the abyss. No matter how hard he struggled, it was useless. Even the communication between himself and the surrounding energy was also completely interrupted. I can only wait quietly, waiting for the trial, waiting for the cold death ruling. Is this the so-called forbidden technique? Xiaoyan sucked in a breath of cold air, and then roared in a loud voice, with a hint of unruly arrogance in his voice. Die, Xiaoyan! Yanzan looked extremely wild and sneered. Under the ban, no one can survive. Heaven's sad rainbow, Tianong light. A light voice emerged, and countless rainbows suddenly gathered together to form an incomparably bright white palace, shattering the void, annihilating all elemental forces, and suddenly facing the go-away with Xiao Yan chilling. The pure white palace contains the unique and terrifying power of forbidden arts. Once drawn into it, I am afraid that even if Xiao Yan is immortal, it will be a mortal situation. I don't believe that your mere half-finished forbidden technique can kill me. The body of the tyrant. Boom! Xiao Yan used all his strength, without reservation. The dazzling dragon blood was rendered on top of Baxia's soul shadow, and layers of endless blue lava roared violently, fists covered by Baxia's scales clenched. From the start, with a strong blow, we greeted the holy heavenly palace. That blow contained Xiao Yan's strongest power against the dragon god transformation and the scale of domination. It seemed like a simple blow, but it seemed like he could pierce through the sky with a single blow. At this moment, countless people held their breath and stared blankly at the two people who were in the world-shattering battle in the Medicine Valley, and their hearts could not calm down for a long time.